Alright, everybody, we're back. And I mean, especially, we're back. So, anyway, welcome on back for another brand new video. And I am Devin-Foxy, remastered. Yours truly, the real me, or should I say, the real Devin-Foxy remastered. Today, we're going to be doing is another one of Total Drama again. So, anyway, yep, it's this time it's about the spinoff, which will be exactly the host, Don, exactly, not Chris, but more likely, yeah, you probably might would rather want to see it for yourselves, everybody, since I can't be the one like, oh, just be the one doing all that exactly, since I'm trying to be aware of what's or whatever exactly, but as I said again, I'm only going to be talking about their characters, not the whole episodes, but just their characters. For why they've lost and for a reason that they should have not lost or should have lost, into amount of reasons where I might say why. So, anyway, without that being said, and oh yes, I actually got you guys another special gift just for everybody to enjoy. I'm only going to do Chris's voice and then kind of maybe Chef's voice as well, since, yeah, both of them are kind of fired or whatsoever, but this is just a different story of me saying so. But just remember, I'm not going to continue the whole so-called whole drama stuff. After what I said, this will probably be it. Then it will be it. So probably that. Anyways, with that being said, let's just bring out one good surprise, and then actually just get the character of Dawn, which I might be voicing just 3 characters exactly. So without further ado, let's just not make this as a long, huge time, just like a few other minutes or whatsoever. But let's just see where this all goes and see where all this happens. And remember, I'm only just reviewing of seeing who should have won or lost. Anyways, without that being said, here and now, we're going to be talking about is Total Drama Ridonculous Race. Anyway, let it begin. And oh yes, by the way, there is not going to be any marshmallows, just to let everyone else know that there will not be marshmallows. It's only about going to the one who enters in the carpet of completion, exactly, and whoever remains safe, exactly. Remember, there's going to be 2 teams, specifically, partner to partner. So yeah, that will probably be the only existence that will be only be partners to partners. So yeah, let's just say you'll make it like 2 on 2 exactly, by saying it's 2 versus 2. So anyway, with that being said, let's do it. Here we are, and we're about to start this right now, and also begins in 3, 2, 1, and let's do this. Ah, man, can't believe I was fired. Man, I can't even believe I'm fired. Well, this sucks. I gotta say, I had a good long of a heck of a seasons, pretty much from season 1 to 6, but hey, at least that's not bad at all, but still, can't believe I was fired. And of course that, somebody will have to replace me. Ugh. Well, Chef, what do you gotta say before we, just retire at this point, since the new guy basically took my job? Well, Chris, if I would have to say the same question for you, is that, well, you sure did have a long of a run, in pretty much in the series. I mean, you definitely did had a good run. I mean, for specifically, you had a very great run, not gonna lie. But I'd say to pretty much amount of this, is that, well, at least we had some fun, by actually having the greatest time for like 6 of the seasons, basically. Which, it was kind of like near 5 or somehow, but it still remains 6 after all. So, anyway, Chris, well, it sucks that, the new guy has taken your job, and basically for me, oh, well, I will probably might, get to go and return back to prison again, since basically, since I've already decided to say, it's like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna probably just go on and just serve prison food, just for the prisoners. But anyway, Chris, well, as I said to you, man, hopefully you had a great time, and yeah, so, kinda sucks. I do agree, it does suck. Well, suit yourself, Chef. Suit yourself. And I mean, whatever, man. I mean, just whatever. Well, that's it. I'm probably am just gonna go home and just see where this so-called new guy thinks he's gonna do my job. Since, well, at least Chef's having fun in prison, which, I mean, not basically, he's only serving prison food. For pretty much where he mentioned to me about two exactly, which, that's just definitely in a different time that he's doing so, but can't believe it. Well, at this certain point, I gotta see who this Dawn character thinks he still continues my show. But into the matter of my fact, well, I'm just gonna call myself and just say that, you know what, I am just probably am gonna retire and never come back. So, well, if what it is, then it is what it is. Well, I am gonna get going and just see where this all happens for the so-called new guy to see what he's doing. Why, hello, guys. I am Don, and that's right. This time here on Total Drama Ridonculous Race. So anyway, yeah, my name is Don, and I'm the new host of Total Drama Ridonculous Race. And as in for all, yep, I am the new host for now on exactly, and probably will be so much yet again to call me Don. So yeah, I am the new person for this job. So anyways, especially, hopefully you all enjoyed the series of mine of the spin-off. So my name is Don. Let's get right to it. And without that being said, here on Total Drama Redunculous Race. Well, well, and well. If it isn't Don, well, that's the guy, the new host. Interesting. Well, interesting, since I can't interfere with anything, since, you know what? What the hell? I probably would rather have some popcorn. Since, on the other hand, let's just see how this Don character actually takes to be the greatest host of my job. Since, basically, that's just a little stupid. But, into the matter of the fact, I am just going to probably watch and see what happens in this and see where all this goes on whatever the so-called redunculous race. Yeah, redunculous race, more like redunculous dope of Doop Doop. You know, going for the bathroom at number two. That's what that would sound like. Anyway, I'm gonna just get some popcorn and see where this even happens. Yep, there you go, everybody. That's your treat. So I have to say that, well, as I said, we might actually say the last time that, well, it's just Chris's goodbye exactly that he's probably leaving in this point since, yeah, he probably is leaving. And then let the other guy known as Don that actually has taken his job. So especially, well, pretty much Chris had a good run anyway, since based to say that, oh, I probably would rather dislike, some of the ones I never liked it anyway. It was either pretty much with three and then five. Oh yeah, three and five sucked. But as in for two, oh yeah, it got a little bit better with my boy Duncan winning, but still, I will absolutely say three and five sucked. Best to say that even though that my boy still came around for the third one anyway, and still try to manage all the way from five, but still lost, which I really am not going to appreciate since that actually sucks. So, anyway, hopefully you guys do enjoy the rest of pretty much with me explaining about the ranks exactly of the teams of the characters exactly. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. Without that being said, I am Devin-Foxy remastered. And yeah, I'd say this would be the last one too exactly if I finished it all up exactly, which yes, this would actually be the last one. So anyway, let's enjoy the moment and absolutely enjoy it. So anyway, without all further ado, I am Devin-Foxy Remastered. Let's do this and let's talk about the characters who had lost all the way to number one. So anyway, let's start from the bottom rank and see who still tried to manage a little bit better, but yeah, let's just see where this happens and goes. Anyway, Let's do it right now. Three, two, one, start. All right, so here we are for this one of right now exactly. For the people who came in 19th place is the LARPers, known as Leonard. Oh yeah, he came back for pretty much in the race, and I was like, wait a second, did this guy actually came back the second time? Like, oh my goodness, did he barely just came for the second time? Just in the show. I was like, no way did this guy came back. I mean, after all, he did got kicked off exactly in the last season, basically in Pocket 2 Island exactly, before after I witnessed after when Sugar had a bit of a different crush on Leonard when I was like, no way. Was that for real? I was just like, no way for surprised. But anyway, into this other point that, well, looks like Leonard had another teammate to help him. Exactly, that is known as Tammy, which she's known to be a Viking, so probably that. So anyway, after when I saw the witness between two showdowns and three exactly, I think it was like either like pretty much with the three people I would probably were like probably like the vegetarians, I guess, and then I don't know who the names were, but I'll specifically we'll get to the names in the next place exactly for who was out. And then pretty much it was father and son exactly. That was also to be in the next chopping block against the LARPers actually, since that actually was pretty quick. And I was like, interesting. Wanted to see who those people were going to be out, but correctly or not, I was surprised, and it tells me otherwise that it was the LARPers who were out of the whole race. Especially were out of the whole race instead of pretty much spending quite a bit of time, probably not wasting their powers or anything. Which specifically, I know he's a wizard and I know she's a Viking, but come on now. I mean, it's a race, not power school. I mean, power school would have been something more imaginary than just using kind of like wizard stuff. And also confetti. Okay, well, I'm not gonna blame anything else but the confetti part, which I really am not. But I was like, wait, you for serious? Really? Are you really wasting your time with confetti before the race even will continue yet again contagiously? Will keep on moving to the next part of their challenge. I was like, wow, just a little bit of wow. Which I'm not disappointed. I could have really said something more better than for the LARPers to just probably like did something a bit more better to win the next part before they didn't came in 19th. So yeah, they're kind of in last place. So I'd say as well, it's just pretty much goodbye for the LARPers who came in 19th place. So yeah, Leonard and Tammy are out of the race and they're done. Probably that, and they're definitely out. Well, and for this place, by the way, of what we have here on number 18 exactly, the people who came in 18th place was the tennis rivals. Now, I know what I'm going to say. That yes, the tennis rivals are actually in 18th place. That is known as to be Gary and Pete. So for those reasons, for those two people who are out, by the way, is because, well, the reason why they were out, by the way, is because, well, they were just kind of cracking some jokes until some of that was happening before like a few other clips of time at the end since they always like to tease each other for no other reason since hey, I mean, they're tennis rivals after all since they're the ones who like to rival each other up for most of the reasons. So yeah, that considers why that pretty much Gary and Pete are actually always the ones who are argue all the time since I'm actually like, okay then. Since they like to argue that much, then that's just fine with me, I guess. Now, for the only people who were close from being out was either pretty much with reality TV pros, that is Owen and Noah, since I'm like, hey, yeah, my boy Owen's here. Yeah, my boy Owen's back. Since I'm like, yes, my second character is back on the show. Seriously, I literally like the second character, the secondary character that's Owen. Oh hell yeah, I like seeing that guy again. The reason why I like seeing that guy again is because he was funnier in the season one thing all the way through the few other times exactly. Especially in three, he got a little bit impressive somewhere in the part, but not as quite as much as I would recall it, but not as much as I would say it. But hey, fair enough is fair enough with him since he had a great time. So yeah, I'd say Owen is just a very good character I still like. So not bad from him. Anyway, so Yep, pretty much the tennis rivals that is known to be Gary and Pete. The both of them are out of the competition and they remain to be at 18th place. Yeah, so not last place, but just 18th place. So anyway, tennis rivals lost. All right, everybody. So, for the people who came in 17th place is the geniuses. Now, and for this reason why the geniuses were out, by the way, well, let's just say the final three were actually facing on to see who makes it from, I don't know, not being eliminated 17th place, but it tells me exactly that, well, it kind of does tell me that the only ones who came in 17th was the geniuses, which I do say it was probably Ellody and Mary that actually came in 17th place. And also, the other person does kind of remind me of Courtney. The other one who actually was the other genius. Not Mary. I'm talking about the other person that actually reminds me of Courtney. I was like, wait, are you for real? Is Courtney's voice actually that person? I was like, nah. I was like, wait, what? I was like, you can't tell me. Like, you can't actually literally tell me it's actually Courtney's voice for that one. I was like, ooh, surprises, surprises. Man, don't we have a surprise for that? Especially. I was like, nah. I was like, Isn't it really Courtney's voice? I was like, okay, this seems quite interesting for me actually to know what the heck was that. I was like, interesting. I was like, a little bit of studying of Courtney's voice into that other genius character. I was like, okay, this seems quite actually interesting for me now. Since I was like, all right, fair enough. Right? Literally fair enough. And then, of course, I'd say that's fair enough exactly. And the only three people who were barely close from losing was either the best friends that was known as the other Devin and Carrie. So, especially, I just say that it's just, barely the best friends were close from losing. And oh, yeah, the Surf Brothers as well, known as Jeff and Brody, exactly. Oh, I cannot believe I'm saying is like, nah, I'm like, yes, my favorite dude's back, Jeff. Like the bro from the brohood. Yeah, he came on back soon. Like seriously, I really like Jeff exactly from the season that much. Especially I've actually paid attention a little bit carefully from season to season from time to time, by season number, which I was very correctly knowing how. But anyway, back to the point where I was saying is that, well, it was down to the final three teams left to go for whoever made it from 17th to 15th. And the only thing I'd say that who was out barely close was either from the Surfer Dudes, and then it was down to the Geniuses. So I'd say who still did a great job was either like, oh, man, things are a little hard for me to explain. So the only thing I would say who deserved its staying was either the Surfers or just pretty much the Geniuses. And you know what I'd say? The Surfers. The reason why I say the Surfers deserved to be winning that one was because, well, they were close, but hey, I mean, the Geniuses were way far behind since it was a little bit obvious and confusing at the same time by saying it's like, oh, I forgot we were going to just like continue to like, oh, get more camera time on the characters before some of them actually made it to the carpet of completion. Well, and to that point of view, I'm saying is like, wow, just a barely and a close enough that I'd say it's definitely the Surfers I actually was cheering on for, not the Geniuses. Since, yeah, rip the Geniuses, since Geniuses weren't close enough by actually getting close enough, so rip. And yeah, I did say before, once again, everybody, that the other genius reminds me of Courtney, which I'm like, wow, freaking let's go. All right, so let's get into the next team exactly, the next other people who actually lost and made it to 16th place. So let's go ahead and check it out. So anyways, let's take a look and see who was in number 16. So as in for now, folks, man, I just cannot believe that Courtney, oh my god, she actually was that utter genius. It was like the other person's name which almost reminds me of that familiar actress. And I was like, all right, man, let's go. Thumbs up. So anyway, yeah, and also one more thing before we actually do get along with to the next part is that I think I have to say Carrie actually reminds me of Bridget. I was like, ooh, wait, what? But don't worry, I'll probably explain that in another place exactly. I'll explain that in another place of another number for who actually came into the place rankings. Yeah, I'll probably explain that soon whenever I get to that. So for now, I have to say is well done to that actress who did a very great job playing the other genius who was Courtney, almost a little similar, but wow, just wow. Very surprising. Nice, well done. Alright, so here we are for this one, everybody. Is that, well, here we go. So, as in for this next one, by the way, by any chance, is that who came in 16th place? Well, I'll give you guys a good hint. The only question I'm saying that shows on the screen is the vegans. Well, it wasn't obviously going to be that question, but it was just going to be sarcasm. Now, for what I'm going to say about this one, about the vegans, oh, how do I say about the vegans? Well, the vegans didn't do kind of good so far, basically, since the vegans were trying at least to come back from another spot by besides being stuck to another place. Well, let's just say in the matter of the fact exactly by any other chance would either have to be is pretty much just like, oh, probably just like saying is like, who was actually pretty close to actually get nearing a little bit amount of the place? Well, the question goes to a little bit in this question is that the only three people who actually barely stayed in actually or nearly about to stay out the penalty exactly is that yeah, it was kind of like the last one in the penalty box, I think. That was just in the penalty box from 1 and 2 exactly. That was either from father and son, and then Owen and Noah again. But this time for the penalty box that was in 2 was just daughter, mother and daughter exactly. That was pretty much known to be as Kaylee, and then the other daughter's name, I'll probably explain that in a different certain time exactly whenever I get to that. So I gotta say, yeah, not looking pretty okay in the penalty box since the two of them were safe during that time afterwards. And then the only two people who were facing each other left is either to be the rockers or the vegans. Well, in my actually experienced question, who would I say who probably would have been better? Either be rockers or vegans? Well, I'm kind of more of a rocker kind of a guy, not more of a vegan person, but if I have to say which best, I'd say is that, oh yeah, it would be the rockers. Trust me, I'd say the rockers are pretty better since yeah the vegans well they kind of deserve being in which place that is, but I'd say hope to luck for them to be doing something okayish, somewhere they didn't lose, but I'd say good luck for them being in which place it is since yeah that sucks all the way in 16th place. So rip. Yep, the vegans are definitely in 16th place and they're definitely out. Since Lori and Miles actually lost, since, yeah, they kind of lost. So probably that. Anyway, so let's see what else is going to be the next. People are going to be out in the next place between 16th that isn't going to be in 16th, but the only ones who are 16th is just the vegans. But now we're going to get to number 15 of seeing who loses in 15th place. So let's get on with that, shall we? All right, so the next people who were definitely during on to be in like for the place that they're in is like I don't know 15th. Yeah, I think it was like 15th place. So for the bloggers, I think yeah the bloggers kind of end up in 15th, and they ding kind of won so far since yeah they came in 15th place. Best to say the bloggers were out since I'd say that well it was kind of a little bit of a shot. I'd say that they were in 15th. So, yeah, the bloggers were definitely out, by the way, by any chance. So, yeah, the bloggers were definitely in, which meant I'd say that they were supposed to be out, but now they're currently out of the whole thing since, since due to the lack that they lost to the Goths or probably lost to another team, which I wasn't very sure if they did lost, but at this point, I'd say they kind of lost to a different team that they were actually out for since well, I'd say that's a different amount of understanding since I'd say that, well, the bloggers are out of the game and they're completely out from the whole race since they're out. Anyway, so that's what I would say at the moment. So yeah, that's all I would say. The bloggers are out of the game. Completely out of the game. So anyway, that's all I would say. And yes, their names is Tom and Jin, by the way. If you guys do or don't know that their names are Tom and Jin. From pretty much the bloggers that yes, those are their names. That is Tom and Jin. So anyway, that's their names. So in this question I'd say is well, for the people who came in 14th place is definitely mother and daughter, since they're the ones to be in 14th place, and the only people who were facing off on three, well, let's just say who were the final three exactly, is pretty much the Ice Dancers, the Best Friends, and then, of course, mother and daughter were the only last ones to be facing off against. But until then, it brings back to two, since it either leads to Best Friends versus kind of like mother and daughter, since that's going to probably be another scenario I would be actually saying so. But the only regards I'd say that, well, in this regard, the best friends were safe, and then of course mother and daughter were definitely out because due to the lack that they were going shopping since they came in last during all the way to 14th place. So anyway, especially they were the ones to be in 14th place, so they're kind of out since that sucks. Which again, I'd say that well, it sucks for them actually, but for now, I guess I'd say best friends actually win. So for right now, for mother and daughter, they lose. So anyway, that's just all I would say. But the characters are not bad at all. Since I'd say that's just not bad at all. But I'd say that's fair enough. I would guess to point out since that sucks. But fair enough since they're in 14th place. I mean, hey, last place would totally would burn in that kind of scenario during like all the way back in 19th place or whatsoever exactly, but for what reason is pretty much. So anyway, that's just all I would say. Now we're going to head to number 13 in 13th place. So here we go. Okay, the people who came in 13th place of the teams, well, who came in third? Who came in 13th place? Yeah, I'm in 13th place. So, who came in 13th place? Alright, so for the people who came in 13th place is the adversity twins. The adversary twins. Yeah, the adversary twins. That. Ah, my frickin' tongue. Ah, my tongue. That. I was going to say the Adversity Twins. Okay, so for the people who came in 13th place is the Adversity Twins. Now, as in for that, is that, yeah, Jay and Mikey were definitely out of the competition, and the only three people who were left is pretty much the sisters, and then the reality pros, the reality TV pros. Yes. So the only people I'd say who survived it this so far was just pretty much the sisters, and then of course was the reality TV pros exactly. That was Owen and Noah. Yeah, they actually did survive, and then of course Mikey and Jay were out of the competition since, yeah, they were kind of weak. A little bit in my opinion, they were just kind of a little bit weak, but should have really have gotten a little bit in a different similar place beforehand. And yeah, I knew it was going to be coming to the Goths that were going to be out too, but hey, some of them actually did survive pretty instantly, so I'd say that was pretty alright and pretty good, since I'd say that's fair enough. And yeah, pretty nuts, I'd say. That actually is pretty nuts. So in this scenario, the point is that, well, Jay and Mikey, known as the Adversity Twins, are out of the race and out of the competition, and they were in 13th place. So yeah, adios. And they were out of Agrante. Or should I say, they're out of here. So, anyway, 13th place. So, as in for the only ones who came in, I don't know, pretty much in 12th place. So, for the people who came in 12th place is the Step Brothers. Since I knew that the Step Brothers were in 12th place this time, since I'd say, well, the Step Brothers were in 12th place. That was known as Lorenzo and Chad. Exactly. So for the Step Brothers, well, they had a good run in 12th place. Not bad that they were in 12th, since I'd say is impressive job for the Step Brothers. Man, who knew the Step Brothers actually gotten pretty decently good before they even weren't out this whole time? But I guess I'd say that they were actually a little good in that companion, since they were doing well in 12th place. Since hey, since that's fair enough, since Step Brothers did a very good job for that, since they end up in 12th. So yeah, rip, since that actually happened, since that kind of did suck. And oh yeah, by any chance, by any way. So yeah, and also afterwards at dawn, exactly, decided to add a double elimination, that it's sending the Rockers home, and then of course the Step Brothers home, since both of the players were actually out, since they were actually the ones who got into a tie, since, well, I think I'd say Step Bros actually were the ones who didn't touch the carpet of completion. The Rockers did touched it, since they were the ones who touched it. But for the Step Brothers, no, they didn't touch it, which means that the Step Brothers are out. And also, it did mean for the Rockers that they came in 11th place. And oh yes, speaking for 11th place, well, for the best friends, and then as in for reality TV pros, well, the two of them survived, and ahead that the two of them did survive, which yeah, I'd say that kind of did suck afterwards again, before the best friends and then the reality TV pros were the only ones to be the only ones who were in the chopping block, since I guarantee that the reality TV pros were the ones who would be in the chalking block. I meant to say in the chopping board, which I meant saying that part out loud, since I meant saying that. And also, trust me, don't worry whenever I don't get it correct, or not so much, but it is just what it is. But I mean, to the only point of saying that, well, that sucks. And also, the Step Brothers are out of the game, so yeah, they're out. Anyway, let's get straight to the point with number 11, since we're going to talk about the Rockers. Since now we're already mentioning that part too, since that already is now occurring to me. So let's just get right into number 11 for 11th place. So let's head into that, shall we? Let's go on ahead and see what happens next. Well, there's not much more to talk about the Rockers at this point, since now I've already explained it a little bit about the Step Brothers right now, since, oh yeah, the Rockers are definitely in the same chopping block that was the Step Brothers in this one, so I kind of did see that there was a double elimination in this, and I'd say it's like, wait, how is that even a new thing? The double elimination? Oh, I was like, huh? No way did Don actually add this idea right in his head. Best to say I don't blame Don for the way how he actually adds the way on this, but I was like, oh, okay. If this guy actually has something new to add, then share it right on ahead. I would be gladly to know how, since I was like, all right, fair enough with that. I would say fair enough to that point. So, anyways, I'd say that Rock and Stud, well, the other two, they were out. Exactly. Just the same way as the Step Brothers were, since that's actually in a different pace. Since I'd say as well, the Rockers did a great job. I was like, kind of like in their movements and moving their like using their hands, like saying it's rock and roll. Since it was like very interesting for those two gentlemen that did a great job to actually like I don't know stayed a lot longer into the whole game. I was like, woo, just in the same way as the Step Brothers were. All right, fair enough with that idea. I'd say it's fair enough. But I'd say Rockers and then the Step Brothers, well, they had a great time and they were probably just trying to reach, but fair enough again, I'd say is all right then. Fair and fair again. So, yep, they're out. Since they're already in remaining to be in 11th place. So, yeah, good job for the good job for the Rockers and Step Brothers for being in 11th and 12th. So, nice job, I say. Nice, well done, and good job, I say. And congratulations, too. For the only ones who survived, actually, to do pretty well before near to the final 8. Actually, being a little close, but not as far as I would say that's enough. But yeah, that's what I would say. Alright, well, here it is, everybody. So for 10th place we have is Father and Son. That is known as to be Dwayne and Dwayne Jr. Well, what can I say about these characters? well, they actually had a good moment and a bit of good laughs after when I was laughing a couple of times, while in the show. I best to say that who was kind of a bit more better? Was it either pretty much Dwayne or just Dwayne Jr.? Well, they're kind of 50-50 since I don't know how to break the next tie or somehow, but in my only expense, who I'd say who was even better? Oh yeah, I think it was definitely Junior. Oh yeah, it totally was Junior the whole time. Dwayne Jr., yep, he was right. Like he definitely kind of was right since I'd say he's right in that point since, just trying to be like staying in the competition. Like, I kind of like some people who stayed a little bit long to be in the competition before some other people wand off and just like, oh, do something a little goofy and a little bit dumb, just for a bit afterwards. And I realized I was like, okay, I like how this is even going with father and son at the moment since I'd say, wow, that's just all right then. Well, that's all I would say for like Dwayne and Dwayne Jr. Well, for them, they actually had a good run and always had a good run before they were even supposed to be out. But it's just in a different way to say that's fair enough. But it's just fair enough for the way how they survived. And oh yeah, who was I voting before one of them was going to be out? At this point, I kind of sticked with Owen and Noah since, I kind of prefer sticking with Owen and Noah since, hey, I mean, fair enough for my guy Owen. I still liked him as my favorite secondary character, so yeah, I really preferred sticking with the reality TV pros other than father and son since that's why I would rather stick with that question. So yeah, that's why I kind of stick with that question. So pretty much. Alright, so anyways, for the people who came in ninth place, yeah, for the ones who came in ninth place is definitely definitely the reality TV pros since they came in last. Oh yeah, ninth place. That actually does stink, which, oh yeah, it stinks. Which, I mean, it really does kind of stink since, on the other hand, yeah, they actually came in pretty much in last in ninth place. Since, I mean, the only final three who were definitely almost consuming to be the only ones left in this race was either the police cadets and then the surf dudes, the surfers. So I would say for the ones who I would be cheering on for is just Owen. In my regard, is that well, yeah, I kind of still would rather cheer on for the reality TV pros since I'd still stick with that right now since I was sticking with it. But until something really currently happened, oh yeah, I think the police cadets got there first, and along with the surfers, since the surfers were actually the ones who were still sticking with the police cadets. Yeah, well, it was kind of a double ouch after Owen and Noah were out in that time, since, well, fair enough for the people who were in ninth place for the reality TV pros. And yeah, I'll kind of miss that guy, always Owen. I've always will miss that guy. But, he's always pretty much of a good player anyway, since he was my secondary. So, yeah, fair enough for this. I mean, really fair enough. And then, as in for like I said, well, if Owen and Noah were out of the game, I would kind of cheer on for Jeff and Brody since I would be the one cheering on for the Surfers. Since, I'd still have my hopes for the reality TV pros to make it all the way from 8th place, but it turns out that they're the ones who are out of this race since they were out actually, since like last time, since Junior and pretty much father and son exactly were the ones who end up in 10th, but now for ninth place, kind of really bites the reality TV pros' butt in ninth place since that hurts. Since I'd say that actually does hurt like that, it really does hurt. So anyway, yeah, since that actually happened, so reality TV pros, ninth place. Owen and Noah are out of the game. Really are out of the game. Well, looks like I have to say the Goths were out of the competition. Well, looks like Cripson and then the other Goth were out of the competition. Since, well, I have to say, wow, I can't believe the Goths even made this far. Which, I mean, not gonna lie, I don't blame the Goths for being in 8th place, but oh man, who would have knew the Goths would actually fall back behind? Actually, specifically the Surfer dudes again were facing against the Goths. I don't know, but I guess I'd say that kind of is another shocker for the Goths since, hey, I mean, I still voted for Jeff and Brody to still continue winning, but fair enough to those odds again that, well, the Goths were out of the game, and I'm like, wow, how did the Goths got eliminated this one? Like, whoa, the Goths were out of this game? Man, that's a shocker for the Goths, which, I mean, I actually would give some good respect for the Goths, and very good memorial respects for the Goths in a matter of a good way and see how that was happening. But man, it turns out the Goths were out of the game. Wow, that's an ouch. Really was a big ouch for the Goths to be out of an eighth place. Well, who would have knew? Since the Goths are out of the game, well, rip, the Goths are out of the game, and yeah, that sucks for them. So, ouch. Just completely what I was saying, so that's just all I'm going to say. Ouch. And oh, I forgot to brought up something here a little bit from this, so I forgot was that, oh yeah, the Goths had a pet rabbit named Loki. Since I was like, whoa, really? How did the Goths actually name a rabbit called Loki? I was like, impressive, impressive, man, like really impressive. Like I'd say that's massively impressive to have a pet. That the Goths actually got a pet named a rabbit called Loki. I was like, okay. Well, congratulations for the Goths to actually have a pet. So I'd say, all right, well, fair enough. I'd say that, well, hopefully the Goths would be good pet owners for that, since that would be a good way to take care of a Goth rabbit, just in a good way, in that, actually, in a good question. But fair enough with that question, that I would be agreeing to that. All right, well, at this very certain, the point exactly is just to let you guys know exactly is that, well, it was definitely about somewhere that, ah, poor surfer dudes. Man, the surfer dudes were just going good. But what happened with that? I was like, wait, what happened? Did the surfers actually lose right at the seventh place? I'm like, no way. I'm like, no way did the surfers lose at seventh, but well, at least they were pretty much being loyal to the best friends that is known as the other Devin, and then Carrie exactly. Well, I'd say fair enough for those odds for Jeff and Brody to let them pass, since that's fair with that. Since well, the only three that were finalists that were pretty close from winning is either the sisters or best friends or surfer dudes. Well, the only option that still remained with the surfer dudes is that, well, hey, I mean, I could be fair with the surfer dudes that they're letting the best friends pass since they didn't want the best friends to go home too early or make it all the way down to the last certain of the final five or six that were closer enough. But I'd say, well, fair games to the surfer dudes. Fair games for the surfer dudes. Like, okay, well, the surfers had good amount of like good standing for that. Like fair odds again. Good job for the surfer dudes. Well done. I mean, very well done for the surfer dudes. Impressive for that. Really good job so far. Really good. Nice. Well done for the surfers. I mean, it sucks for them being out in seventh, but hey, that was some good fair sportsmanship for the surfer dudes just to like let the best friends pass. And I was like, okay, that I could agree with. That I could really simply agree with. All right, so here we are with this one of the daters slash haters. Well, in sixth place, oh yeah, the daters slash haters are out of the game since, well, let's just say that I might actually break a few good pointers. I would say which one's even funnier. So, which character was pretty good of slash haters and going to be with data slash haters? Well, obviously it's Ryan. The reason why I'm saying Ryan is pretty good is because, oh yeah, I laughed to some jokes for what Ryan was doing to Stephanie. I was like, damn! I mean, if some of you guys have actually watched a few other episodes while some other people were out or in, yeah, you guys can really highly tell how funny the parts are exactly with Ryan. Like, oh, making Stephanie do all the nonsense. Like, before, if again, that Ryan and Stephanie were getting back together before they were even out. So, yeah, I'd say Ryan was pretty based. He was very likely being the most based character a bit of the time. before Stephanie could have really done something to him pretty badly. After, like I said before, again, I'm always here for 50-50, to see which one of them is pretty good and which one of them is not. So I'd say pretty much Ryan did pretty best and better, but Stephanie did okay in amount of an alrightish, in that kind of a way. She was alright in amount of the time since Ryan was the one trying to, like, I don't know, overthrow her game exactly. Since Ryan did pretty impressive, since I'd say, well, he did pretty good. He did very excellent into this right now. He did very excellent. And then now, as in for the people who were getting to be a little bit close, let's just say the final three, who were those people were being exactly as either the police cadets, which, oh yeah, the police cadets were also in the chopping block, and so goes along with the ice dancers. Before the ice dancers' penalty was up exactly, and then yeah, their penalty was up, but it turns out the ice dancers remained staying in to the whole race, and then since the haters slash daters. Oh yeah, the daters slash haters were absolutely out before they came in sixth place. So yeah, they were totally out of the game, and they were super out of the game. So rip pretty much Ryan and Stephanie, known as to be the daters slash haters. Well, they're out of the game, and they're pretty much out for pockets. So they're absolutely out. So, as in for this, everybody, well, here's what was happening on this one is that, well, let me tell you guys something that really even happened with the best friends. Well, let's just say that the best friends were doing good, at least, but the bad part was about that exactly. Well, it came down to the sisters versus the best friends. Which, yeah, it kind of was another face off during on that one before they even got to the carpet of completion, and they had to take care of their birds exactly while they were riding on it or something to get to the finish line. But so far, what was even really happening, like Katie actually pushed off the other Devin off the cliff, which I mean, ouch! That really would be another painful hit right there, since that one was another critical hit. Which I mean, I wasn't laughing. I was like, Jesus freaking Lord! I was like, what? I was like, WTF? Like, what? Like, no way did that ever happen. Like, man, didn't that really have to hurt? Seriously, again, it would hurt for painful reasons. Actually, like, duh, the cliff one is an absolute risky thing to do. Basically, if anybody would ever get a parachute for that question, it would have been a very amount of a good safe off for that while wearing a parachute. But until then, it kind of actually stinks after that even happened. So it currently meant that the best friends were out, that was known as the other Devin and Katie, were kind of actually out of the race since they were totally out, since that was a big ouch, man. Like, really hurtful. It was really hurtful. Like, trust me, it really is hurtful for the other Devin to be having that kind of pain right there, but man, let the brother speak. Like, seriously, let the brother confess to Katie for God's sakes. Like, at least for something, though. But I mean, hey, I mean, if he already confessed his feelings already to probably be with her exactly, then yes, finally, at least, like, finally, after that so much, then finally. And also, can anybody please tell me that Katie does sound like Bridget to me? Like, Bridget actually reminds me of another character that was Katie. Which, I mean, not Katie. My tongue again. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. My tongue's always just slipping out for no reason, just to not keep it being quiet. But hey, at least I'm lasting it a little longer without messing it up for likely, since I messed it up like 2 times. So, yeah, 2 times. So let me explain back right now is that can anybody please tell me that does Katie? I mean, not Katie. No, I mean I was saying Carrie. Yes, Carrie. Can anybody please tell me that Carrie actually reminds me of Bridget? Seriously, seriously. Like, I have to say, pretty much with her exactly, Katie. She reminds me of Bridget. Like, what? She reminds me of Bridget. I'm actually gonna say, not gonna lie, but it does sound so similar, and it really matches the character. It really actually matches the freaking character. It really matches the character that it really does remind me of Bridget. that that I have to say for her exactly, that no one was in the best friends. She reminds me of Bridget. Like, wow, she really does remind me of Bridget, that was known to be another surfer, that was along with Jeff, which seriously, she does remind me of it. I was like, dang, man, she really does remind me of it. And then, well, as it for the best friends is call exactly to who might be recruiting on back, to come back to the show and might actually replace their spot exactly for the best friends. Well, the best friends have chosen was the surfers, since the surfers were more likely an ally to them, being loyal with the best friends. So I'd say it was like good freaking call. Like I was like, good call, man. Good call. Like that was a very good safe spot to go on with. It's the surfers. Thank you. Like the surfer dudes really came back to return, so congratulations. They have definitely returned. So anyway, for the only point that they came in fifth place is that, well, yeah, well, hopefully they did a good job coming in fifth place. After all, they were the ones who were in top five. So congratulations for the best friends. Well done. Really well done. Very good job. Okay, so as in for what we have here, by the way, is the sisters. Well, in this good scenario of a question, well, the sisters we have, by the way, that is Emma and Kitty. Well, let's just say that Emma and Kitty were the only two girls that were the sisters. Well, they kind of were busted, exactly. They were kind of busted and they were out of the game, near in fourth place, which they did, so it kind of sucks for the sisters being out of the game since, hey, I mean, fair enough that the only final three that were getting to the finish line is pretty much the ice dancers and then, of course, the police cadets. The surfers did came in first again since, well, nice job for the surfers. Like, thank goodness for them to come on back and return back to first place of glory, by getting the first place. So, nice, well done for the surfers. I actually appreciate it for that a lot oftenly for that. So, appreciated to them is a great job. So, I say is well respected. Well respect. Anyway, so that's what I would say at that time. And also, the only thing I would say next is that, well, yeah, the ice dancers made it to second place, but the only ones who came down to third and fourth face-off is definitely the police cadets, and then of course was the sisters. And of course the police cadets came in third and actually got ahead and then left the sisters in the dust to fourth. So fourth place, the sisters did a very great job, not gonna lie, but I was like, whoa, the sisters were really coming close to being the third place. I was like, nice, well said. They were actually being near to that place. So, congratulations for the sisters being in fourth, but they were still kind of out of the game and they were actually temporarily being out of the game. So, the sisters are out. And also, by the way, actually, here's another follow up, by the way, is another one again, since we've already caught like a few voices that was actually Courtney's. That was another genius character, and then, of course, was the best friends that we were just saying now back and previously from the fifth place was definitely Katie that was being, not Katie. I mean, yeah, I think it was definitely Katie. I think Katie was definitely voiced a little bit by Bridget. I was like, wow, surprising, surprising. But now we're going to get to another follow up is that, guys, did you guys know that Kitty's voice sounds like Lindsay? I was like, whoa. I was like, who knew I recognized this character a little bit? I was really recognizing this character from somewhere of somewhat of interesting way, but I was like, all right, well, Kitty reminds me of Bridget. I mean, not Kit. Dang it. Ah, here we go. Third time. Missed. Ah, again. Oh, missed. Okay. I'll start over again. So, did anybody of you guys actually know that Kitty's voice actually reminds me of Lindsay, by the way? I was like, wait, did Lindsay almost kind of sound like Kitty? I was like, what? Since when did Kitty's voice actually reminds me of Lindsay? I was like, ooh, okay. I can know their similarities. I can know what they even sounded like. I was like, it does kind of sound the same thing. It actually does kind of sound the same voice as Lindsay's voice from Kitty. That was like, wait a minute. I was like, wait a minute. This actually does remind me how it actually matched. It really did match. And I was like, whoa, it did. So yeah, I'd say fair enough to the odds, but it remains fair odds and fair odds. So that actually does count, and that actually really does remind me of something, so it does count. Well, looks like the villains were definitely defeated for all for this time. Looks like the ice dancers are absolutely eliminated and they're in third place. Which I was like, all right, well, finally. I was like, literally, finally. I mean, what did it have to come down to against? I mean, would it rather be the ice dancers versus the surfers? Well, that would have been a different good coincidence, and a little bit of that kind of extent. But it did never happen. Good, because it never even happened. I was like, finally, at least something came by to that issue. Like, at least something came by with that question. I was like, thank God. Bruh, the ice dancers were in third. Thank you. They're absolutely out of the game, which finally it makes me feel a little bit happy with that one. But geez, finally, like the ice dancers were just bragging and bragging and bragging for a few amount of times. Especially I don't have to say they didn't brag lots of times. I mean, they bragged few times in the season, which they were doing so at the amount of the time, which was like, come on now, like really, really, you ice dancers think you'd be both right trying to win again? Nah, that never happened. I mean, the only good question is that, well, says the one who keeps getting busted by the police cadets for a few slamming times after a few other moments did so, and then the ice dancers did the same back to the police cadets. So, that's not what the only thing I would be reconciling about, but the only thing I would say is good riddance. Just good riddance. But anyway, so the ice dancers were in third place and they're totally out. So anyway, yep, out means out. So the ice dancers were definitely gone and out of the competition, and it finally leads to the final two, which is definitely two versus two. So yeah, that will be an interesting match. So anyway, let's get into that big match. So anyway, here we go. Let's get right ahead into that, shall we? All right, everybody, here it is. The true moment and always the best moment we have here. So, anyways, looks like, as in for now, looks like the police cadets, oh, they're out. The police cadets are out. It looks like the police cadets lose. The police cadets are in second place. That is MacArthur and Sanders. So, as in for the police cadets, they're the run up winners, which means that they're the alternative winner, but they came in second place, and the police cadets did not win. They only win the alternative ending, but in this one, the real ending, nope, they have not. But so far, the police cadets are in second place and are out of the competition. So it means that the police cadets lose. Well, I have to say, well, good job for the police cadets. Not gonna lie, they barely came in second, but I still cheered on for the surfer dudes all the way, man. All the freaking way. So yeah, I'd say the surfer dudes, I still cheered on for them always and always for the very end. Well, pretty much when I was cheering for Owen exactly on whatever that the reality TV pros came in ninth place, yeah, I still cheered on for that too. And I still cheered on for the surfers as well because, well, they're pretty amazing in my opinion. They're still amazing. But as in for now, the police cadets lose, and they're out of the game, and they're out. All right, everybody, you guessed it. The winner is the Surfer Dudes. Let's go. Yeah, the Surfer Dudes win, everybody. Guess what? The Surfer Dudes just won. Oh, I mean, wins Total Drama Ridonculous Race. And I mean, not gonna lie for Jeff and Brody again, after when they still returned. Oh, yes, that was a big score. Really good score for Jeff and Brody. I mean, finally. Like, I was like, finally, man. I was like, yo, let's go, bruh. Like, let's go. Yes. Like, I was really cheering on for Jeff and Brody all the way before they didn't give up. which I was like, yes, that's the victory I want to see right there. By seeing pretty much Jeff winning, like, oh my god, I would so been happy for that. Like, seriously, even though my boy Duncan, oh, I still like him, whenever I like playing as the character just for pretending, I'd say is, let's go freaking Jeff. Like, yeah, that's how you make the Brotherhood to enjoy yourselves, man. That's how you win the Brotherhood. Like, let's go for the brothers. Just for pretty much with Owen and DJ, that's pretty amazing. So I have to say, great job, Jeff and Brody. You both win the race, which I mean, not gonna lie, wins Total Drama Ridonculous Race, but congratulations. And I have to say, man, Jeff just made his girl happy. That was pretty much Bridget. Oh man, that would have been amazing. Really, considering it amazing. And then, oh yeah, as in for Brody, oh boy, looks like Brody is dating MacArthur. Like, nice, really nice. And then, as in for Owen and Emma, nice. I mean, for Noah and Emma, which I meant to say Noah. Yeah, which I did say Noah, which I pretty much did say that. So, Noah and Emma, huh? Wow, looks like that went pretty well too, since that was impressive. So, man, great freaking moments. And oh yeah, as in for another one was the other Devin and pretty much Kate and pretty much the other girl's name. Oh yeah, I think it was definitely Carrie. Yes, Carrie. So as in for that, wow, we had like three big ones. Three, which I mean they're actually just being together, which was three, which I was like, nice. Like some good romance again. And oh yeah, back with the daters and slash haters. Oh yeah, they're still back to being together. So I was barely surprised out of that question. So hey, I was surprised. I was like, wow, really surprised. But back to the real point of the winners with Jeff and Brody, they actually win. Freaking total drama. Total drama with Ridonculous Race. Congratulations. Like, I'm really happy for my boy Jeff for winning this. And so did Brody. Since Brody and Jeff are pals, exactly, since, hey, I'm fair with Brody, since I'm kind of more of a to a Jeff person, not a Brody kind of thing, but I'd say fair enough with Jeff, since Jeff and Brody did a great job. And also, man, Brody just wins a girl that is known as MacArthur. Nice, well done. Really impressively again. Well done. So, anyways, that's all I have to say right now. And without that being said, here and now exactly, well, I'm just about to finish this whole thing up exactly with just getting with Don's voice a little bit, and then Chris McLean's voice back again, and then maybe a little bit of Chef, and then flip back to me. And that's where I might end the whole thing exactly and just be done with. So, anyways, man, nice job for the Surfer Dudes. They win $1 million. Well, I gotta say that this show of this Ridonculous Race was well done. I mean, very professionally well done by yours truly, me, Don, the new host of Total Drama Ridonculous Race. So anyway, without offering that to be said is that, well, I'm glad to say that the Surfer Dudes are finally happy to win their $1 million. And especially they're winning their $1 million, well, I'd say to fair enough with the police cadets that they've won their alternative ending, since now we know that the real ending goes to the surfer dudes, that is Jeff and Brody. So, man, these surfer dudes are actually pretty good. So, I gotta say, congratulations to all the way to the very end of the end. So, I'd say that the surfer dudes win their grand prize of winning $1 million in the briefcase. So, especially thank you all very much for enjoying this. That I am Don, yours truly, me, the new host of Total Drama Ridonculous Race. So thank you, thanks for coming on by, and we're glad to thank you all very much for coming. So anyway, Don here, signing out. Bye bye, everyone. So, looks like I have to say, looks like Don, on the other hand, finally did something on his job, I guess. Well, to be fair enough that this show already sucks, that, well, at least my shows were still better than Don's was, at least for something, but at least he can't tie me on another spin-off if that was necessary, but good. At least hopefully that it's the last one spin-off anyways, forever what Don's ever gonna get. So especially, I'd say the show just still stinks. Which for me, my shows have been quietly been more better and then pretty much make it more interesting anyways. And like I said, whoever does compare me to Dawn, oh no. Do not ever think about comparing me to Dawn Head over here. I mean, my show is still better than his. Well, for whatever I have to say about this excitement, I'm just gonna still remain retiring right now, so yeah, well, at least me and Chef are splitting ways anyway, since he's either going to the prison and just selling prison food for the other people for whatever so much lightly, so whatever. I'm just gonna get going and just yeah, still quit the show and then just hand it all to Dawn exactly, but whatever. I mean, whatever. I had a good run anyway, so whatever. Alright, well, that's it, everybody. That's it. So, I gotta say by the end of the day that, well, pretty much in Total Drama Ridonculous Race, well, I actually have to say that the show wasn't bad after all, since I'd say the show wasn't bad. So I'd say, well, give it some good props for Jeff and Brody for winning the show. So nice job for the Surfer Dudes. And I have to say, well, what do I have to say to give the show something exactly for what I have to say from 1 from 10? Well, I say I give this 10 out of 10. Since I'd say the Redonkulous race was amazing, so I'd say, yeah, kind of give this 10 out of 10, since I'd still say 10 out of 10 made me feel a little bit happier for the Surfer Dudes. But I was supposed to be a little bit more happier for the reality TV pros to win the show, but it kind of stinks, but it's fair odds and fair odds again, so I'd still say thumbs up. Literally thumbs up for the surfer dudes that won the show. So nice job for them. So, anyways, my name is Devin-Foxy Remastered, and I have to say thank you guys very much for watching this. And even if this was a long video of me actually explaining for who should have won and not won, I'd say onto the ratings of their places where they are exactly for what places that they're in. Well, not gonna lie, pretty much. So, without that being said, everybody, I'm Devin-Foxy Remastered, and it's yours truly, me, the real me, actually. And also, if you guys are a new person to this channel, totally remain subscribing and definitely be a part of the Devin-Foxy community. Totally, again, to subscribe. If you're a new person to this, totally subscribe, and that will be thankful, and that will be truly, again, yet again, amazing. So, thank you guys very much for watching this long video, and I know it is a long one, but hey, I mean, it kind of deserves a little bit of something, so it kind of deserves a treat since, I kind of allowed to have Chris and Chef come on speaking exactly, just only my voice of those characters, and then just Don for only General, a little bit from the beginning, and so yet again from the far end. So, yeah. Anyways, without further ado, I'm Devin-Foxy, remastered, yours truly, only the real me, Devin-Foxy, remastered. So anyway, thank you guys, peace out, and yet again, sign out, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Peace out.